Turn my music high, 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 high. Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Sure I do. I'm from the streets with a hood.
And we're back. I know you guys have missed me. It's been a couple weeks. I apologize. I've had a lot going on. As some of you may know, I finally got a job, so I had a lot of things to take care of in reference to that. But I'm back, and it's a good time to be back because we're going into week 10 of the season, and we put together already 9 games, and a lot has gone on since the last time we really talked about the season as a full schedule. A lot of things are going on, and so I really want to spend time today and recap what's happened and what I think might happen in the future, just looking at some numbers that I pulled up today that I found really interesting. So let's hit with the records. So right now, we have a 3-way tie for the second best record, which is really exciting for a few people and a little bit challenging for another. So let's go into that. So Tony Ortega, my brother, the owner of the Tony the Tiger team, he's seen kind of a slip in the last couple of weeks. He's for the first time the whole season, you have a losing record. We are standing at 4-5 with a challenging couple of weeks for you. And I don't know. It's a combination of players not showing up, of other teams moving up, and it's really Abraham and Kike playing the spoiler and me just not letting you breathe. And so it's been kind of a difficult time for you. But nonetheless, you're still in first place in your division because of the points that you average. And Abraham, who comes up from behind with also a 4-5 record, is just right behind you. Now, here's the thing. Regardless of what the points say as of right now, Abraham still has a couple games ahead of him with Team Mundline Apester Dynasty to really either catch up and take over or just keep messing with you. And it's a really interesting. Now, the thing I said about Abraham, he's been consistently inconsistent. For example, last week I beat him, which even though he had a really good season, he just fell back into his continuous role where he wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one, and it's just been consistently consistent. But yet, he's been consistently, even then, though, winning. Whereas you, Tony the Tigers team, is just not doing really well lately. And I mean, and a lot of it has to do with the bye weeks, and so we got one more bye week. So I think after that, things will really shake up to see the picture that we're going to be probably looking at in the future. But I think what we got right now is a pretty good predictor of what we may see. So by that I mean, with Tony the Tigers team, really, I think that after the bye week, especially with Rodgers, this week's going to be tough for you because Rodgers being sad for the bye week. You might have another challenging, but after that you'll have your whole team and you'll be able to use everybody to your advantage. Now on the other side with the Motherline division, I said also there was 3 ways. So you have Tony the Tiger with 4-5, Mundline Apester Dynasty with 4-5, and also the Pershing Power Rangers. You had a streak for a couple of weeks where you were basically playing the upset role, and I think you won 3 in a row, but yet you're in the division with who again? Let me remind you guys. Who is it that you're in this division with? That's right, the King. The King, and I'm still holding strong at 6-3, and you're still 2 games back. Now, last week you had a hell of a game. You had Doug Martin really show up for you, and he's somebody I think you're going to be leading in the future. And a lot of people have been projecting him as a real threat, and so that gives you a pretty formidable backfield. But nonetheless, I still got the crown, so I'm not really worried about it. So your record is 4-5, and my record is 6-3. So me being first place and the overall first place of the league. So as of today, if we were looking at how it would work out, it's myself at 6-3 with a 2-game winning streak, and that's what helps me. Like I'll lose one, but then I'll gain 2, something like that. Usually I don't lose for too many games in a row. And on the other hand, with Tony the Tiger also in first place in the Mustang division, you've lost 2 in the last 2 games. And again, with Rodgers out this weekend, it might be pretty challenging. So we'll see how that goes. And you have a lot of points, so in the point section you're up, but it's still going to be really challenging. Abraham lost last week but if things continue, he might win next week. So it's just with Abraham, it's kind of up and down. So there's no real indicator on how he does. But again, if we're looking at it today and the playoffs started today, Tony the Tiger still would be in the playoffs with myself, me being ranked number 1 and Tony the Tiger ranked number 2, only because of the points. And so that would force Mudline Aber Dynasty to play in the consolation round with Pershing Power Rangers. Now, here's the thing. It's all about really getting to the playoffs, because it doesn't really matter what my record may be, even though it is the best record in this league. For some miracle, you could possibly beat me at the end. So if it's just us two, regardless of what the points show and the record is, at the end we still have a championship game, and if you beat me, you win the league. So that is something I have to continue to work on and make sure that my guys are set, and I'm looking at a number of people that are available. So that's where we're standing right now. So, it's been 9 weeks, 9 games have gone by. We're starting to see how things shaking up. I know in the beginning, we felt like it was just going to be me and Tony, but now we have a different scenario where the Aber Dynasty is fighting for that spot in the playoffs, and this week could be the week that makes the difference, especially again with Rogers being out. That's going to be really challenging for you. The Pershing Power Rangers, at this point, you're just trying to play the upset role, whether it be for me or would be for Tony. Now, if you went on a 3-game winning streak and I went on a 2-game losing streak, you could totally take this. But that's a real challenge. That means a lot of things have to happen between now and the next 3 weeks before week 14 happens. So that's kind of what you need. You basically need you need to win 3, and I need to lose 2, so you can move up 1 on me and get a lot of points. Now, you're good on points against, because you've gotten some pretty decent guys, especially Drew Brees and Doug Martin again. I don't know if Doug Martin will have another game like that, but if he continues to do so, it's going to be pretty exciting. One of the things that I thought was really interesting while I was paying attention, I was looking at the top 15 performers in the league, and who's the average points. So right now, for example, Drew Brees is averaging 21 points a game. Now that's the Power Ranger, so you have that, and the next guy down is Aaron Rodgers, which is Tony the Tigers team, at 21.4. So those are the 2 top performers that are being claimed as an average points per week. So those are great. Knowing that you're going to get 20 points a week, that's a pretty nice little way. But one of the things that you guys might not notice is that out of the top 15 performers throughout the season, I own 4 of them. Well, I'm sorry, I own 5 top performers. So I have Arian Foster that averages 18, Bears defense, you guys love that, 17, Beth Roethlisberger that's averaging 17.5, Brandon Marshall averaging 14.8, and Eli Manning, also who I could switch out with Roethlisberger depending on the matchup, at 13.7. So those are the top 5. They're in the top 15. The Power Rangers are next, which is, again, it shows that you could be an upset. You have 4 people that can be they're in the top 15, where you have Drew Brees, Robert Griffin III, Doug Martin, and AJ Green. The thing with you is that, again, you got Robert Griffin III, and Drew Brees, so it's not, you can't use both of them. So in fact, you only have really 2 players, whereas I have 4 players. Tony the Tiger has 3 guys, and Abe, you got 3 guys. So I think because of those projections, I think that's going to be the most competitive, because you're really playing pretty even with each other. Tom Brady's being the top player for Abraham, and again Aaron Rodgers for Ortega, for Tony. I'm sorry. So this is some of the things that are going to be shaking out in the next couple of weeks, which I think is really exciting. So look at that. If you go to the free the section for players and you select on the roster, it will show who has who, and what are the rankings and where they're at in the top 15. Behind that, there's still Marshawn Lynch, people that are with big points opportunities. Victor Cruz, somebody Tony has. He has an up and down kind of season. LaShawn McCoy, one of my guys, and Eric Decker, who are also back and forth. We got also another big name out there that's been kind of making noise is Marquise Colston, depending on what kind of game he's having with Drew Brees, and that goes to Abraham. But Pershing, and here's where it shows some of the weakness with the Pershing Power Rangers. After that, after these initial guys that I showed you, you don't have a lot in the top 15. It really is owned by, it's being dominated by myself, Tony, and Abraham. So the Persian Power Rangers' weakness is that they're missing some of the guys in the top echelon that average an 11 points or up. So those are some of the things that I was noticing.